Welcome back. Hope everyone's doing well. The question that I have for y'all today is do you think it's okay to shoot back at a police officer that's shooting at you? I think the answer would be, well, it depends. I think there's a moral obligation that you have to yourself in terms of self-defense, people around you, and then there's the legal reason. The reason why this question was brought up is there was an incident, I think it was a couple weeks ago, but some body cam was released of some cops just mag dumping into a house in Houston. An apartment. And I'll give y'all a brief overview. So there was a call to 911, and the call was in regards to a couple of people breaking into a house. Now, it was their house. The people who broke into this apartment, it was their apartment. Apparently, they just forgot their key. So, the cops show up, they knock on the door, they announce that they're there, and they sit and wait, looking through a window, waiting to see if anybody comes to the door. As soon as this woman starts walking out, she's got a gun in her hand, and these cops unload on her.
Sheriff's office!
The time, just after 2 a.m. last Saturday morning, deputies called to the report of a burglary at the second-story apartment off Uvalde Road in Northeast Harris County. They're on high alert after seeing a broken front window. Officers unloading more than 24 rounds through the front of the apartment. One deputy reloading her gun and continuing to shoot.
Go down, go down! Go down! I live here, please don't shoot! This is my home!
Now, if you look at the shooting, in my opinion, the cops are completely wrong. They're a little bit trigger happy, and at the end of the day, is there a threat? Well, I guess it depends who you ask, but let's kind of break this down. Let me tell you how I handle someone knocking at my door. If I get a knock on my door and I don't hear anything, if I'm not expecting someone, I am not answering my door. You can sit out there all night, buddy. I'm not coming to the door. I don't need to talk to somebody about alarm systems. I don't need you seeing inside of my house. It's just not happening. To me, it's a complete invasion of my privacy if I didn't invite you over for you to sit there and knock at my door and somehow command my attention. It's not happening. And I truly believe it's how everybody should be. I know that sounds weird for somebody who lives in Texas with the whole Southern hospitality thing, but you know what? Crime ruined that. Most people aren't coming to someone else's door for a cup of sugar or a beer nowadays. I don't know if it's someone who just wants to say hello to their neighbor or if it's someone dressed up like an Amazon driver just trying to rob me. If there is one thing that Second Amendment absolutists believe, it's that you cannot rely on anyone else to take care of you. Not with your life, and not with your wealth either. We owe it to our families and the generations to come to be smart with how we protect them. Throughout our lifetime and lifetimes before, the dominance of the US dollar has been unquestioned. But that is simply changing. Banks are falling left and right, and the government is talking about taking complete control of your money with this new digital dollar. So don't let your life savings become a casualty of currency wars or falling corporations. Now is the time to call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They'll show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your wealth portfolio with physical gold and silver. They have the finest products, amazing customer service, and a trusted buyback commitment. American Hartford Gold has a 5-star rating from thousands of reviews and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau. So when you call them, tell them that I sent you, and they will give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. Just like this piece right there. So call them now. Click the link in the description or call 844-940-0662. Or you can text HEAVY to 65532. And once again, a big thanks to our friends over at American Hartford Gold for sponsoring today's video. So, let me get on to the second point. These cops announced that they were there.
Sheriff's office!
In your mind as a police officer, if you're going somewhere at night, you better make damn sure that whoever's in the house heard you for this exact reason. Once again, hypothetical situation, if law enforcement comes to my house and they're just there to do whatever, let's say an ATF agent, dude, leave your card on the door. I don't need to talk to you. If you have a warrant, You're coming in regardless, but if you need to talk to me, leave your car on the door and you'll get a call from my lawyer. That's it. So once again, in this situation, I think the confusion behind the person who was in the house and the cops is that they probably didn't hear that it was law enforcement. Now, if they did hear and they walked to the door with the gun, you're stupid. You're just asking for it. But no person in their right mind, in my opinion, who hears sheriff's department or police at the front door is going to walk to the door with a gun, unless you just want to die. So this lady probably didn't hear them. They see the gun and they just start firing at her. The question becomes, if you truly didn't hear that it was police and all you're experiencing is somebody shooting at you in your house, do you fire back? In my opinion, in this situation, I would say yes. Let's take the cop out of it. At the end of the day, if you're dead, you don't have a day in court if someone charges you. They could have easily put one right in her temple and she wouldn't be here. So, if I was in this situation, you bet your ass I'm firing back. Another reason why I personally would have fired back in this situation is they gave no commands, right? Maybe their thought in their head during the shooting is, well, maybe they didn't hear me. Okay, well, make sure they hear you now. Drop the gun, police. Put the gun down, police. Put your hands up, police. Maybe that stops the whole situation. Oh, it's the police. But no, instead, they just unloaded in there. Now, obviously, this is probably a 1 in a million situation, but from the legal point of it, if this person did shoot back at these cops, would they be charged? Once again, it depends, because they could have a woke DA that doesn't like cops and they say no, self-defense, or they could have a DA that says, why would you shoot at police officers if they're there to investigate a crime? This whole thing is kind of a cluster, but I think it's good for people to know. I personally don't care who you are. If you're aggressing on me or trying to take my life, I have my God-given right to self-defense, and I don't care if you're law enforcement. I don't care if you're a homeless person. I don't care who you are. Once again, if you're dead, you have no argument. It's just they shot you or killed you, and you're 6 feet deep. So I think the point of this matter is, if you're law enforcement, you better make damn sure that the people inside heard that you're law enforcement. And if you think there's a slight chance, you better go find cover. Because most people that I know, if they're not expecting you, one, they won't answer the door, but two, if you keep knocking, yes, they're coming to the door strapped and hot. And they're ready to blow your head off, because at the end of the day, if you're not expecting someone and they're not leaving and they're continuing to knock on the door, it's probably a threat. Last thing I'd say is, this is another reason why it's so important to have some kind of security system installed on your front door, whether it's one of those doorbells or just a camera. If they had one in this situation, probably none of this would have happened, because they probably would have saw, well, actually, I don't know, because they stepped so far off, maybe they couldn't see him if they had a camera. But in 99% of the situations, if you have a camera on your door, you're going to be able to see that, oh, it's law enforcement. I probably shouldn't walk to the door with a gun. But I want to know what y'all would have done in this situation. Would you have shot back? Would you have walked to the door with a gun? What would you have done? Pretty interesting stuff.